Welcome to another exciting Botany and Beer video. This is the Christmas Eve edition. We're here at White's Plant and Nature Preserve with my botanist buddy Nate, and we're going to talk about, I think we're going to talk about Virginia creeper and poison ivy in the winter. So, you know, if you're out hiking this Christmas, because it's a nice warm Northwest Indiana Christmas Eve, then you can know there's cars driving by. So if you can't hear me, that's why. You know the difference between poison ivy and Virginia creeper, so you don't freak your grandma out, you know? There's enough to fight about, you know, with politics. So anyway, there we go.
Alright, so what we've got here is a nice mature hunk of Parthenocissus quinquefolia, the Virginia creeper. That name, that's going to be the virgin vine, is what the etymology of Parthenocissus. Quinquefolia, that's referring to the 5 leaves in the compound leaf. But we're sticking only to the winter morphological traits in this video, so let's get into that. So the first thing you're going to notice about the Parthenocissus is that it's an alternate branching vine. And then what we can do after we look at that branching is there's this really neat feature with the adhesive discs where you'll have 2 adhesive discs and then you'll see that branch.
And I'm gonna jump in because those discs, those discs are on the tendrils, and that's something that separates this from Incerta, which is a sister species. It'll have these tendrils, but not these discs. And we'll try to get a good close-up of those discs here in a minute. But go ahead, Nate. Yeah, and
also another identifying feature on this that'll help to distinguish it from poison ivy is if you look at the bud scars on the Parthenocissus, you'll see that they're very, like, kind of almost D-shaped, kind of more rounded, whereas as in Toxicodendron, you're going to get more into a crescent V-shaped bud scar.
Yeah.
Also, we've got some nice swollen nodes here, which is another distinguishing feature, which is going to help you to distinguish this from the Toxicodendron.
And one other thing and we'll see this when we look at poison ivy, Toxicodendron, is that these bundle scars, there's going to be a whole bunch of them within this leaf scar here, and we're going to see 6 to 8, and we'll look at that when we get to the poison ivy. But there's going to be a whole bunch of them instead of just a few, and again, we'll look at that closer here in a bit. And this also has alternate leaves. It's going to have alternate leaves with oftentimes off the leaflets, the tendrils will be coming opposite of the leaflets. And then the aerial roots, so it's going to have aerial roots also, and we'll get a good view of that, and we'll talk about that a little more here. But is there anything you want to add with the terminal buds here?
As you can see, it kind of ends in a pair of buds here. There's no direct terminal bud, which is another distinguishing feature between this and the poison ivy. You can see the 2 of them nestled right there. Real nice, just cuddling, but in poison ivy, you've only got 1 terminal bud. Alright, so just to review on the Virginia creeper, we're going to go over the tendrils right quick because there is that really cool feature that Nathanael mentioned. First of all, you can see really clearly the swollen nodes present here when it's up against this tree real nice, and also you can see that nice arrangement of the tendrils where we go 1, 2, bud, 1, 2, bud, which is a really nice diagnostic feature on this. And another thing that you can note, pivoting over to this larger, more mature Parthenocissus, is the thickness of the aerial roots. You can see these nice brown roots coming off of this vine. That's going to be another distinguishing factor because those roots aren't quite as big. They're going to be more thin in poison ivy.
So I think we were talking earlier that it kind of is like the what is it? Not angel dust.
Angel hair?
Angel hair spaghetti. Angel hair spaghetti. Yeah. Compared to, and we'll look here in a second at the aerial roots of the poison ivy, Toxicodendron. Cool. This is growing on looks like a red maple here as well. Cool. So, you know, the fun of botanizing is when you run into this little, you know, it's a warm Christmas Eve, and this little garter snake, this eastern garter snake, is just, it's a little excited with us. It's upset that it's sunbathing, and we've upset it. So we're gonna try to like leave it alone a little bit, and but there you go. You know, it's some of the cool things that not just botanizing, but herping a little bit. So look at these aerial roots, how fine they are. They're branched. This is Toxicodendron radicans. Toxicodendron, toxic, so toxic. Dendron is tree, so think of dendrology tree. So the toxic tree is what Toxicodendron actually used to be in the genus Rus, so like the sumacs, but then it was moved into Toxicodendron, and then radicans is just the roots, the many roots, rooted. And you can see with these roots, it's going to have these raised lenticels. These raised lenticels in here. It's going to have the raised, and we can see that better on these branches. So with Toxicodendron poison ivy, we have Rydbergia and radicans. Radicans is the only native poison ivy that we have in the Chicago Great Lakes region with this climbing aerial roots habit. Rydbergia is going to be a short, small shrub that you see in like the sandy, drier areas. So you're going to see these leaf scars are gonna be more crescent shape or smiley face, V-shaped, and they're gonna have 6 to 8 bundle scars within them. So these little, like where the vascular tissue connects with the leaflets, the leaf I should say, and then the leaf breaks off to the leaflets. So it's gonna have 6 to 8. It's going to be again crescent shaped and round, and then you see that pubescence, that hairiness on the new growth, and sometimes it gets glabrate, so less hairy as it matures. So I'm going to let go of this so I'm not completely covering myself in poison ivy, but there you go. So this is a great example. I didn't have to touch that last one. Nate pointed this out, and I'm like, oh man, now I've got oh well. But you can see here where the leaflet stalk is still, the leaf stalk is attached and it's pubescent, and then you can see this naked terminal bud, and then you can see here. You can see that lateral ascending bud there, and you can really get a good shot of the bundles, the leaf scar here with the bundle scars.
All right, so infesting this really nice Populus deltoides, we've got a pretty huge population of poison ivy. And as you can see, it's getting into that branching habit that Nathanael described earlier, reaching up to, I think it's like 1 meter or more, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, this is clearly, yeah.
So we've got a very mature stand of it, and what's really nice about that is that it'll enable us to get a look at some of the fruits.
And so when something, these are poison ivy can be rhizomatic too. So these underground stems, so it can be clonal. And oftentimes why it does this, why it branches out, is so then it can have its fruit and flowers dangling off away from the tree so it spreads. It's kind of like, hey, look at, it's, offering its goods to the birds and the raccoons and the things that want to munch and love it.
Alright, so we're fortunate enough to be able to find some nice drupes here, and the fruits are a really good way to distinguish between the poison ivy and the Virginia creeper. In poison ivy, you get a drupe, which is akin to a stone fruit, so you've got a little bit of flesh surrounding one central seed, whereas in a berry, you're going to have those seeds dispersed throughout the flesh. But so as I said before, you got a drupe in poison ivy, and you have a berry in the Parthenocissus.
And in poison ivy, it's going to be a whitish color, especially at this time, whitish yellow. Mm-hmm. And in Virginia creeper, it's going to be kind of a bluish purple, oftentimes. So again, the Virginia creeper is a berry, poison ivy is a drupe, as Nate said. So this is the money shot here. So we have poison ivy. Look how branched these aerial rootlets are and how thin and wispy they are. This is on an American elm, Ulmus americana. And then look how fat. I'm touching these because it's, it's Virginia creeper. Look at that. Look how fat these are compared to this. And then this is a great, you can see them both right next to each other. That's a perfect find. So I hope you can sit back, enjoy a good Christmas ale or a quad or some really good dark beer because it's Christmas season. Keep the IPAs for those nice warm summer weathers, and crack open a good, stout as you enjoy learning about the winter ID of
poison ivy.
Yeah, and the Virginia creeper. And remember, do not be the Virginia creeper.